top centers in free agency. Okay, so I think we all understand this, and we've all kind of walked through this and talked about this a little bit. And I'm gonna do that with everybody here real quick. So I've had some different guests on, and you guys are knowledgeable enough in the game of the NBA that you guys know exactly, where the Lakers are and what they need and how critical it's going to be for the Lakers to obviously try to build a team around Luka, try to get the right players and the right pieces. If they're going to compete in the Western Conference, they got work to do. I think we all know that they got work to do. So hoops I put out there, and I'm just kind of more curious to get people's opinion. This is not a trade. This is more, can the Lakers go out and try to sign a player? They will have to be a little bit creative in how they do that. They got some expiring contracts and everything else. 2025 NBA free agent ranking, top centers available this summer. Okay. About a week old or so, but it doesn't really matter. I think, obviously the free agents are the free agents. So let me just kind of show you guys some of the free agents that are available. And as soon as you guys see, hey, the Lakers really, really have to go after this guy or that guy, just feel free to put it in the comments and then we could have that discussion. Miles Turner was their number one free agent available in the summer. What's crazy about Miles Turner, and I think you guys would all agree with me on this. Damn, we've talked a lot about Miles Turner. This dude still is not a Laker. How much time have we spent on Miles Turner alone of trying to figure out, obviously what his role is going to be, or not what his role is going to be. Can the Lakers get him? If they do get him, what's that going to look like? I mean, we've been talking about Miles Turner for a really, really long time. That's the number one center that's available in free agency right now is Miles Turner. Kind of has his stats down here, what he's currently making in the market. So it will kind of give you an idea of what he's probably going to get. All right, second option. Everybody knows a lot about Naz Reid as well. Now, I think Minnesota is going to do everything they can to keep Naz Reid, but something to keep in mind. Naz Reid's only making $13, $14 million a year, so he's got a really, really good contract, something to keep in mind. We all kind of know what he brings to the table. Brook Lopez, older, but here's Brook Lopez. Obviously somebody that's been in the league for a while, at one point played with the Lakers. You see his career earnings. Clint Capella is number 4, and Mo Wagner, who had Lakers drafted, is number 5. Those are your top 5 right there. Before I get into some of the others, those are the 5 players right there that will be free agents. Now, some of these are a little bit different. Some of these guys have team options. Some of these guys do have player options. Which one's got the player option? It's Naz Reid that's got the player option. And then some of these guys are just unrestricted free agents. So something to keep in mind. Those are the top 5. If I go a little bit further down, just so you guys see, because I think people have been talking about these players. Here's Steven Adams. So Steven Adams, you obviously have an idea what kind of his value that he brought to the table with the Houston Rockets. Kevon Looney, obviously part of the playoff picture right now. So there are your centers right there. Those are at least 10 centers there that are going to be available in free agency. As I sit here and I look at the Lakers, I look at their situation, I look at kind of what some of their options are. I think we all understand this is an easy one. This is a simple one. Lakers got to go get bigs. Not even just a big. They probably got to get a couple bigs. Now, how you go about doing so? Are you trying to sign do some type of a sign and trade so you can match some of these contracts that are out there? Are they going to have to be creative? Sure. Are they still going to have to figure out what LeBron's going to do? Can they extend Luka long term? What are they going to offer to Austin Reeves? Is Reeves just going to play out this year and say, you know what, I'm going to wait till next season when I'm a free agent and probably go get $30 million a year? You got Dorian Finney-Smith that you got to figure out. You got a lot of expiring contracts, guys that are in the final year of their contract. And if you look at that, Rui Hachimura, Maxi Kleba, Gabe Vincent. So you got guys that are on the final year of their contract. So a lot of options, I guess you can call it, for Rob Pelinka. I mean, on that list for me, I've always thought this, but because he's not been a Laker, I'm just going to assume he's never going to be a Laker. I've always thought Miles Turner would be a phenomenal fit for the Lakers. obviously that also had to do. We were talking about trying to get Miles Turner when Anthony Davis was still a Laker, right? So, that one kind of plays out a little bit different. We that's how long we've been talking about Miles Turner. We've been talking about Miles Turner. It's been a couple years that Miles Turner's name's come up. I mean, Miles Turner, I think would be a phenomenal fit for the Lakers. He can spread the floor. He doesn't clog up the paint defensively. He can go get blocks, but I don't know how much of a reality that's going to be for the Lakers. I think people have mentioned. I've heard a lot of people bring up Nick Claxton and trying to go trade for him. I think Nick Claxton would be a nice fit for the Lakers. I think anybody would be a much better fit than their current situation. The question is going to be just how creative can the Lakers be into trying to make that happen? Let me look at a few of the comments because I do want to see what you guys think in regards to some of these free agents that are out there. All right, let me see here. What do we got here? I got to go back now. I got to go back. Let's see. All right, let's see. All right, people are still complaining about how soft the Lakers are in their backcourt. We need Steven Adams. Can I ask everybody a quick question? Hypothetically, if Steven Adams came to the Lakers, in the regular season, he was only averaging about 14, 15 minutes a game. Now, that went up to about 22 minutes, I want to say. When I was doing the show with Trevor, we were talking a little bit about it. My only concern with Steven Adams, that is not your pick and roll guy. That's not like a perfect fit with that's not a perfect fit with Luka. If you told me Steven Adams is your backup center, I would tell you phenomenal, perfect. You have a defensive center that can come in, give you 15 minutes a game, and then hopefully help you out in the playoffs. The problem with Steven Adams that I have is I don't think Steven Adams is going to be, a guy that you can depend on and say, I don't think he's the perfect fit with Luka as far as offensively goes, even though I think he helps on the defensive side. But I also don't think Steven Adams is going to be playing 30 minutes a night. I don't think that's going to be happening. So I think that's one thing you got to keep in mind with Steven Adams. Okay, get another one here. Adams and Capella. I think this is maybe more of, what I mean and what I'm referencing to is if you can't get the perfect center, then you got to get the right centers that are able to do a couple things. Okay, that's interesting there. Clint Capella, I think, can play a little bit better, or at least have a role where he understands the pick and roll process and do that with Luka Doncic. And then if you got Steven Adams coming off the bench, then it's like, all right, you handled a lot of those needs that you needed with a big. Get another one here. Is Mark Williams still available? I think that ship has sailed. I don't think that they're going to go back into that, pool. I think Mark Williams tweeting after the game that he was happy that the Lakers lost probably is not going to ignite this Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick saying, let's go get us Mark Williams. You already had a chance to get him and you already said no. So I don't think the Mark Williams thing is going to help, or I don't think it's going to happen. Let me get a couple more here. Miles Turner is literally the perfect fit for the Lakers. Yeah, I agree with you. I do think there's something about, Miles Turner that obviously is in today's NBA to get that stretch big, but also to be a big that is not afraid of playing defense. I agree with you. Now, listen, if they got Miles Turner, they still got work to do, but at least he's, I do think that would be somebody that would fit obviously a huge need for the Lakers. If the Pacers get to the finals, they're re-signing Miles. Can I tell you this? I think I had this in my notes, and I think I talked about it a little bit yesterday. There are a lot of teams that could get to the finals. I mean, the door is wide open for a few teams, and I don't know what's going to happen. You still got to bury the Celtics and bury the Cavs, and maybe if you do that, then that just means this is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder doing what they do. I guess we'll find out over the next two games that they have against Denver. But you are right. I think what happens to these free agents, a lot of it's going to be based on how far do these teams go. If the Knicks get to the NBA Finals, are they still moving heaven and earth to get Giannis? Maybe, probably. But they also could be saying, no, we don't need to. We don't need to. We can wait. We can wait on Giannis. We could keep building what we have. Let's let this thing, marinate a little bit. I don't know. But I do think depending on how far teams go does have some type of indication of how aggressive they are in the offseason. By the way, I'll play that the other way. I think Houston's going to be very aggressive in the offseason because they got eliminated in the first round and they feel like they're close. I think obviously Lakers are going to be very aggressive in the offseason. Okay, how aggressive are the San Antonio Spurs going to be with Wemby and trying to win right now? How aggressive? You kind of go up and down the list of some of these different teams here and what they're going to do based on what they did in the playoffs. All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.